Video games based on superhero franchises haven't always been successful, especially on current consoles. However, the Batman Arkham series has achieved critical acclaim from critics and gamers alike. The third game in the Arkham series was just released with not much optimism since Rocksteady, who did the original two games, are working on a secret project. So Warner Bros. Games Montréal took the reins. This developer hasn't done any games apart from the port of the Arkham City for the Wii U. Is this game a stain on the Arkham series, or does it hold a few surprises that may redeem it?
Penguin. Not a dime changes hands in this city he can't tell you about. If anyone knows where Black Mask and his assassins are, it's him. But Penguin's hard to find.
Taking place before the first two games, Origins, as the name implies, is the origins of the heroes and villains of Gotham. The game has characters interacting for the first time ever, and the story really goes to weird places like in the last two games. The story begins with Black Mask putting a $50 million award on your head, and the 8 world's greatest assassins are out to kill you. You've got to track down Black Mask while holding off these assassins. Oh yes, I should mention, it's Christmas Eve. Batman is still at the beginning of his career, so his methods can seem pretty brutal, and he's a very angry man compared to the later games. Not to spoil anything, but there are some lovely surprises in store for Batman fans who will get a kick out of seeing these lesser known villains get some limelight and their origin stories being told as well. But the AAA villains are also here, including the likes of Bane, Penguin, and of course the Joker.
Of you to drop in.
With this being the third game in the series, the developers had to one-up the past two games in location-wise. Now, instead of just being in the Asylum and a corner off city of Gotham, you now have the whole city to explore, which is totally under the control of Black Mask, including the police. There is so much to do, from trying to stop Black Mask, help the police out, capture the 8 assassins, and also all the side objectives that you can come to expect from these massive open world games. Massive being the word itself, no longer is it reliable to grapple hook across the whole city, so the game has introduced fast travel points which you unlock over the period of the game. When not travelling, you'll be fighting the thugs of the city, and anyone who's played the Arkham games will be very familiar with the combat. Controls are simple. Your face buttons are attack, counter, dodge and block. You've got to anticipate when it's best to attack and how to counter the enemies. You also have an array of gadgets that will allow you to augment your combat abilities, including some power gauntlets that amplify your overall damage. It's all familiar ground really for the Batman veterans, and there isn't much new here except a couple of new enemy types who can counter your attacks, but you'll become familiar with them very quickly. When not in combat situations, you'll be in Predator mode, where you'll be in a room full of enemies with guns. Batman can't go toe-to-toe with gun-toting thugs, so he has to be more stealth-like. He'll do this by hiding in vents, swinging between the rafters and taking out enemies one by one. However, veterans of the series may notice the AI has changed a lot since the original games. The enemies, when they notice one of their guys has been taken out, will all huddle together, and it can take minutes for them to separate from each other. It's not a very fun thing having to wait around, and it's frustrating since this was one of my favourite aspects of the game. The developers seem to have screwed up the AI in this regard. Boss fights, however, have been greatly improved and offer some of the highlights of the game. In particular the Deathstroke fight, which is particularly impressive to watch and play. But this is when I encountered my second problem with this game. I turned off the hint system since I played the previous two games, and so I didn't want the game to point me to all the objectives. This, however, turns off the quick time events in battle with said bosses, making it practically impossible to predict when you have to counter if you've not played this game before. But let's talk about the newest feature to this game. With Batman being the world's greatest detectives, the developers have created a section where you investigate crime scenes to identify what's happened in them. It sounds very promising the first time you do one of these investigations, until you realise how linear they are, and also you can't deviate at all even if you notice the clue before you've gotten to that part of the investigation. Overall, a great concept but poorly executed. This is the general overall impression you get with the whole of Arkham Origins. It's a good version of the last two games, but it's not brilliant either. The world that has been created is impressive, from character design and Gotham itself. The story is interesting, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, it's just imitating the last two games. Then we have the constant bugs, crashes, complete slowdowns to 1 frames per second, even in pre-rendered cutscenes, and even falling through the world. Music and voice work is top notch, however, and the new casting for Batman and Joker are excellent. It's great to see that even with the likes of Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy not doing these roles anymore, there are still great voice actors out there who can bring these iconic characters to life.
Ding dong, the bat is dead. Which old bat? The damn old bat. Ding dong, the damn old bat is dead.
This Batman tale, even though enjoyable at times, has been brought down by technical hitches and just copy-paste from the previous games with new additions here and there. I can only recommend this game to hardcore Batman fans, and most of them will have already bought this game outright. For anyone else, I can't recommend it at full price. Not with these bugs and the game being practically the same as the previous games. I hate saying this because hating on games is not constructive for this industry, but when publishers announce release dates months in advance, it causes the development team to put out sloppy, unfinished work. These types of bugs should have not got past testing.
You fought well, Batman, but I am stronger, faster, smarter. And so this ends the only way it could.
If you've enjoyed this review or want to talk to me about games being released buggy like this, then let me know in the comments below and also subscribe to my channel. Bye!